Hey, what's up, guys? I am Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer. This is a series of videos based on my website, which is this one. This is where I go in depth and explain in details how I have created the website. The tech stack is Next.js, React.js, Tailwind CSS, and ShadCN. So in this video, I'm going to talk about clean code. If you might be interested in joining this 10-hour coaching course, you can click here and you can set up or request a one-on-one discovery call. Then you can give me your name and your email, submit, and then I will come back to you. We will discuss about where you are, what are your pain point, what you're struggling with. Do you want to get job or do you want to be a better programmer? And then I will create videos that will address your unique problem and take you forward. So in this video, we are going to talk about clean code. Clean code, it's an opinionated topic. Everybody has got his own way or her own way of going about it. But most of the things that I will be talking about here are not my own principle. Some of the things I've just discovered as time goes by, but I have based my own knowledge from listening to a guy called Bob. I think he's the one who created Solid Principle. He's got a very interesting and easy to understand approach to clean code, and his concepts are not difficult. He's not talking about work environment related techniques where maybe as a freelancer or as somebody who's new or as a beginner you will get lost because you've never worked in an office somewhere. He's got a way of presenting clean code or instructing on clean code in a way that you easily understand that. So with that being said, let's just get into clean code. Before we get into clean code, I would like us to some sort of get into writing code in general. The reason is this will affect you in a way because you might get hired, meaning that you might work in a team, and then when you get there, there will be some rules that you have to adhere to in writing a code in general, let alone clean code. Obviously, as somebody who had no experience before in working in a team or in a work environment, there are some things that I didn't understand and I thought they don't matter. But as I get into working with a team and other people and other developers, I realize that there are things that are very simple as writing a code, which are important. When we talk of writing a code these days, we don't write a code on paper or we don't use punch card like in, I'm not sure, 19 what back then. But now we are using a computer. And in most cases, you will use a code editor, VS Code, Atom, and other competitors of Visual Studio Code. When you are working with a team or you are joining a company, you will notice that some people prefer a certain way of doing things, but there will be some sort of a standard way of doing things. Maybe that's a company level. So sometimes you get employed by what can I say, by the owner of the company, or you work directly with a certain developer or somebody who's like have got authority, and you maybe uh, uh, chief technology officer, but that person is currently working actively in a day-to-day operation of the business. So if you are working with that person hand in hand, they've got authority. So in a way, they've got their own way of doing things. They want things to be done in a certain way. Maybe it's not that person, it's not that high level person. Maybe it's your friend or your colleague. But the essence here is they've got a certain way of writing code and a certain way of preferences and a certain way of or a f- uh, a certain theme that they like. That's the essence, and that is, believe me, a problem. Okay, imagine where is my Visual Studio Code? This is what I'm used to when it comes to Visual Studio Code. This is a default screen or theme for Visual Studio Code. So this is where I code. I don't have a lot of preferences on Visual Studio Code because I'm not here to entertain myself, if I can put it that way. I'm here to write code. I'm here to help myself think logically. Isn't that so? Yes. However, due to our own differences as human beings, you might find somebody who has went far with editing Visual Studio Code or a code editor. As a result, they will come up with a screen like this. Some of the text is pink and the icons are red and all those things. These are the minor things that when you don't have experience with working as a developer or working with a team, you think that there is some sort of a common ground, like a common understanding that aren't we supposed to stick to the basics, because we are not designers here. So if we were designers, I was going to understand why we customize things. We want a lot of colors. And bear in mind, I myself am a designer. I transitioned from a designer to a developer. But when it comes to designing software, even designing softwares, I like to keep the basic. Really, 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 I didn't understand why people have to go this route. Okay, well, maybe this is not too much. Let's just quickly look at other screens. As you can see here, we've got some different colors. Let's move down, 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 just to check here what's going on. As you can see colors like these. Remember, these people, you are working in a team, you are part of a team. So when you are in a hurry to quickly do a task because it's needed, because you have to deploy it and quickly make changes, now somebody sends you a file. When you open that file, you find these custom settings that you are not used to, and maybe in most cases people even rearrange the layout. If you are used to this being on the left, some other people might put it on top here, on the right, and all those things. These are the things that I really didn't understand with working with the teams, things such as these. Okay, so why am I telling you this? Number one, this is what I want you to stick to. This is my opinion. Stick to the normal basic way of doing things. Why? So that when you get into the work environment, you cannot go in with a certain, let me say, childish pink and yellow theme that might confuse other people. Whenever you're working with a team, in case the company is professional, they are using these normal themes. That means you will blend in. Okay. Stick to the left side of things, put things in the left as they are here so that you cannot struggle. It means that you are going to be like the happiest man ever after if the person that you are working with also they are like this. Imagine being used to your own way of doing things. This is somewhere here, this is somewhere here, and this is somewhere here. When you get into the work environment and you are asked to quickly do something, you will still have to adapt to this new layout. To you, the standard layout is going to be new because you are used to your layouts being somewhere else. So as a tip, just keep the basics. Okay, not only for you but for other people. Okay, so I have been working with themes that keep on changing. Okay, I don't mind if you, maybe, let's say, obviously I'm working under you or you are the supervisor, so in a way I've got some limitation as to what I can tell you to do. I don't mind adapting to your layout and your colors. That's not a problem, because you've got a reason and I would like to believe you know better. But imagine when you are sending me a file or I'm pulling from a GitHub file that you have saved, and then all of a sudden, now there is a white theme. Okay. Then I get used to that for a week, and then tomorrow, this is what we have. The day after tomorrow, this is what we have. The day after tomorrow, the other day, this is what we have. Okay. So for me, I found this annoying. It was not working for me because every time when I'm reviewing the code, I have to figure out where is what. And remember, here we are not designing, it's not a drag and drop, okay? We are coding, we are developing, okay? There's a lot of pieces in this architecture. There is Node.js, there is React.js, there is ESLint, there is Prettier, there is Tailwind. By that I mean the plugins that are involved here. So if somebody keeps on making changes, now you are going to get squiggly lines that you really don't know what makes those squiggly lines, because this developer keeps on playing around the layout. So I would like to say, in writing code in general, please stick to the default and the normal way of doing things, so that you can make your life easier when you are joining a team that uses like default themes and settings, and also so that you cannot annoy other developers unnecessarily. Okay, so now let's get into the clean code. Okay, so what's the meaning of a clean code? And bear in mind, this is my personal term, or whatever that I'm going to say. It's not a standard thing. You might have your own definition. Okay, so what is a clean code? To me, a clean code is efficiency. Okay, it has got, to me, it has got nothing to do with the word clean necessarily, because if you look at this, okay, this is clean, meaning that it's not, it's well aligned, well indented. Obviously, the code editor has helped us with colors and everything. So this is clean. So to me, I always view clean code as efficiency, okay, not necessarily the look, okay, but efficiency, okay. So when we talk of efficiency, what do we mean? Okay, as a developer, when you open a code, why would you open a code? You open a code because you want to do something. Okay, so there is no way where you will want to open a code just for appreciating the beauty of it. Something like scrolling up and down, checking if is this properly indented, the colors, and then after that, you are going to say, Kumbaya, this code is beautiful. Okay. So when you open the code, you want to do something, you want to achieve a goal, you want to execute a task. So that's where efficiency comes. Are you going to be able to do that as quick as possible? As a developer, efficiency comes there. Remember, once you are done making those changes, adding whatever that you want to add, refactoring, putting a new feature in the code, you have to deploy that and you have to run it. Okay, meaning that now it's no longer in your code, it's somewhere in an application, in an Android environment, or in an iOS environment, or in the web. Is it going to be efficient? Is your program going to be efficient? That's part of the clean code, meaning that if you write a lot of functions, some of them they are performing unnecessary tasks, now the application itself is not going to be efficient. As a result, it's going to be slow. Okay, application optimization. Okay, let's say you've got a certain way in which you display images in your Next.js project, okay, or in your React project. However, if you are using, for instance, a next image component, which is some sort of an optimized way of rendering images into the web, okay, that choice you have taken to use next image, okay, I think it's part of efficiency. Okay, so when we talk of efficiency, even in optimization, to improve the performance of the entire application, it's part of clean code. And then again, the other layer of clean code, it's how you see it, how it looks exactly, like in a literal sense, how it looks. So that will be clean code in my own terms and as far as my experience goes. Okay, so now when we are talking about clean code, you might obviously think of comments, that okay, when I'm writing a code, I need to put some comments. Yes, that's that can assist, but Mr. Bob, I think he once said that the code can rot. Yeah, well, so it means that it can expire. If you write somewhere here, let's say, okay, if not validate email, let's say validating email, okay, writing email. When was this? This is 2023, okay. Then in 2024, another designer has been hired and he has been asked to quickly make a change in the code as quick as possible. So the designer will come and change this from validating email, let's say, to validating password, let's say. So do you think if he's like in a hurry, he must make the decision because the app has crashed or the web app is not running and the users are frustrated? He's not going to come here and change. Let's say here there was validating email. Okay. So he's not going to come here and make the changes. He's just gonna solve this problem and that's it and run. What if he forgets to change the comments? Meaning that now the code, the comments are irrelevant, they are confusing. So that's a challenge of relying on comments. So clean code doesn't necessarily mean leaving some hints and clues for somebody else what you were doing. Isn't it supposed that when I'm reading the function, I know what it does from the get-go? Okay. For instance, with that being said, let me just go back. Okay. Let me just show you an example of that. This piece of code, okay, it's an if else statement. If not validate email, what does this function do? You are not me, you didn't write my code, but the name of the function is validate email. So what might be the functions that this function, what are the tasks that this function is performing? I think based on this naming, it's clear that it validates the email. So another person or another developer or another programmer, they've got an idea of what the function does. Okay, now let's just go to the function definition to see what the function does. Validate email. As you can see, it's actually validating the email. Okay, as you can see, does it have all the characters? Does it have the dot? Does it what are the domain and all those things? So for me, these are the important things you need to know about writing a clean code. Is your code self-expressive? Can it express itself without you having to tell me what was going on? Okay, so what might be some sort of what's then an ideal clean code? Okay, an ideal clean code feels right just by looking at it. You can some sort of, it's familiar. Okay, it's written in a way that it's like a deja vu. It's like you've been here before, even if it's your first time. Okay, let's just talk about bad code a little bit. A code that is not clean. Okay, the challenge about a bad code, which becomes frustrating sometimes in a work environment or when you are working with a team, is that people who wrote that code, number one, they are not aware of their code as a bad code. For me, that's a sign that the developer is not necessarily well experienced, to be honest, but it's not matured, I can say. Because as a developer, you know, or this is what I believe, as soon as I'm done writing a code, according to me, as soon as I finish this line needs some work, something that can be done to improve it. It can be written differently. If at the moment I'm busy solving a problem, I'm responding to a request to a feature, I'm attending some sort of an important matter, it's urgent. I understand that. But as soon as I'm done writing it, it can be written in a better way, or there is a better way of doing it. This is something that I came to accept and to understand. So if somebody comes to my code and say this is a dirty code or a bad code, I don't have a problem with that, and I will obviously want to learn from the person. What can I improve? It's normal. So somebody who write a bad code, most people, they are not aware of it. And secondly, they are in denial of it. Based on how they talk to you and how they expect you to do things, you can see that this person doesn't have a clue of his code as not well structured and it's not easy to understand. So in most cases, you will receive an instruction from a senior to work on a legacy code, a code that is already there that you need to improve, and the senior will expect you to quickly do the changes. And instead of doing the changes, you will have to take 3 hours moving in and up and down the code, trying to get this variable or this function or the actual place where you can make the changes. Since these guys, they are not aware of that, they get frustrated. They feel like you are not doing well, you are not performing well, but the code is not well structured. So you get lost in the maze for a very long time, and then finally you will find whatever that you were supposed to make changes in, and then you will change that line from string to integer, okay, as instructed. There is no integer here. Let's say from string to number. And then from then you will find out that this place now is affected. Do you see this is a problem? After you are done fixing this, what you were told to do, you will find that now there rise another error. Okay. Once you fix that, you will find out that one of these pages will be red. This is the red one. The red one is somewhere here. Okay. This page is the red one. Maybe once you change this, then you'll find out that this module is red. Once you change that, you'll find that this is red. Why that is happening? Okay, that's a sign of a bad code. And the unfortunate truth about it, people who write bad code, most people, developers that are not matured, they take it personal. Number one, they expect you to quickly find what they want, and you must quickly navigate through the code and quickly make changes. And unfortunately, that's not the case. So as a new member in a team, or somebody who's new into the work environment of design and development, I think you just have to take it with a pinch of salt. Yeah, more especially when this is coming from a senior, somebody who's got an authority. So they will always expect you to make changes on a code that you don't really understand. There's a saying in English that goes along the lines of the beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. That is true even in coding. The beauty is in the eyes of a beholder. Your code is clean only to you. No matter how well written it is, no matter how many times you've been refactoring it, if somebody else doesn't understand it, as a matured developer, you are supposed to be cool with that. Okay. It starts from the fact that never expect somebody to make changes in a code that you didn't introduce to them. Okay. No matter how maybe they are well experienced, they've been working on a code for some time. If you've got some time, which I always believe you have, and it doesn't need some sort of a meeting, a 10-hour meeting, you can tell somebody, you can introduce somebody into the architecture of your own code. If you have used some well-known programming patterns, like you are using a factory, and then you can tell them that, okay, look, this is how my code has been structured. In the folder called factories, I've got some factories that manufactures different components for me. That is enough. So it can be as simple as that. Okay, so you don't really have to expect someone to understand your own code. Okay, sometimes code becomes personal, sometimes code becomes an art, sometimes code becomes a science. Okay, so there's a lot of things going on there. So when you get into a team, there are some things that you just have to take it with a pinch of salt. When the senior is giving you a code, and according to him or her, this code is clean and you are supposed to quickly make changes, and when you get into the code, you first have got 4 hours to determine what is going on there. So that will be it in terms of other people writing a code. And also the attitude that you have to take is that your code can always be improved. Okay, so then how do you improve a code? Okay, you have to refactor your code. Basically, let's just talk about writing the code. Okay, When you first write a code, you write a code to solve a problem. Okay, you want to authenticate, you want to check the password if it's right, you want to whatever problem that you want to solve, which is the focus or the main intention when you first write the code. Once you are done with that, you must know that there is a responsibility for you to write that code clean. Once you are done solving a problem, then it means that you have to go back and rewrite, just like in movie or script writing. Okay, there's a term in script writing or in filming industry that writing it's rewriting. So meaning that you write better as you rewrite. You don't just get it right from the get-go. Just like clean code, writing it's rewrite, coding it's recoding. So you write your code to solve a problem. Once you solve that problem, let's say once you are done validating the email, your function is working or that module is working, then you need to come back to look at it and be like, if I was another person, would I understand this code just by reading it? Okay, so what are the things that you are looking for in trying to make your code at least look cleaner? Remember, I'm not talking as an expert in clean code. Okay, this is an area that I keep on or I'm trying to improve in. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just gonna go through this page, this code. I'm going to pick up some things which I think are done better, or and also I'm gonna pick up things that as somebody who has been writing this code that I shouldn't have done and it's bad. Okay, so meaning that as a developer, you don't have a problem with somebody helping you to improve your own code. Let's just quickly scroll here. Okay, as you can see here, I'm importing. Okay, this is grayish, but its value is never red, meaning that I have imported something that I am not using. This is bad, something that I need to work on. Obviously, now I might have a lot of excuses that this is my code, I am the only one, and I'm going to change it with time. Yes, I do understand that, but it's supposed to be a habit to me to always, when I'm done with whatever, just go through, just to do a quick refactor so that I can some sort of infuse this clean code technique in my brain and in my veins, so that when with time I can become a better developer where I can write clean code at least with little refactoring. Okay, so this will be a bad thing. Okay, and then let's look, these are the imports. Obviously I'm not going to get into details into this code, but I will just give you an idea. Okay, as you can see here, we've got an option. Let me go to others. Okay, let's say here. Okay, here we've got an option to import this in a different way. Okay, but this choice, it's a brilliant choice. Let me show you what might be a different way of doing it. Let me, okay, just sorry. Okay, let me just show you an example of that. Okay, let's double check this. Okay, components, button. Okay, this is another way of doing this, the dot dot forward slash and then components and whatever. But I decided to go with this route. Let's say I'm taking this module, okay, to a different project. Okay, if I have a rule that all my UI elements are in this folder, okay, this won't work there. Okay, the reason why it won't work, it's because maybe this folder might not be in the same location as it is now. So I'm trying to say this dot dot, it's location dependent. Where is this module? This is where it is. This dot dot depends on where this is. So you can only get here depending on where you are. But here you can always get here no matter where you are. So that's some sort of an example of the things that matter, okay, which are important. Okay, let's just look here. Let's just take Let's just look at these variables for some time. Okay, look at this. This name of this variable, the name is loading. Okay, what might it mean? I think it means exactly what it read as, is loading. It's more like a question. The reason why it's more like a question, remember the data type for this variable, it's true or false. So do you see where the idea of a question comes? Are you in or are you not in? It's either it's true you are in or you are not in. Is loading. Is it loading? If true, it means yes. If false, it means no. Okay. Some other developer might name this as, let's say, when loading. Okay, which is, well, yeah, but it's not a best choice of some sort of naming it. Okay, but is loading, it's more like asking, meaning that there is an answer, yes or no. Okay, obviously the reason why I jumped into this code, I was not getting it for some sort of getting it into details. Okay, but I wanted to give you an idea. Now that we are talking about a clean code, Matthew, can you practically some sort of give me an idea? Can you some sort of show me into the code what are the things that you are looking for? Let's look at the name of this function. Const validate and send emails. What might be the duty of this function? I'm not sure about you, but for me is to validate and send an email. What might be the other thing which is a problem here? It's because my function does two things, which is according to the single responsibility, the S in the solid principle, it's a problem. Okay, a function needs to do one thing and one thing only. Maybe somebody might ask, how do you write this and then come back to correct yourself? Remember, there's always a room for improvement. Don't look at code as writing a solid and a final version of it. Okay, look at it as a playground, something that you continuously improve. Okay, you write a code in layers like an onion. A code has got layers. The main goal or the destination is for you to write as minimal layers as possible, or as little layers as possible from the get-go. Okay, with time you are learning to condense those layers. For instance, let me just give you an example. As a new developer, okay, you might write a bad code from the beginning and you might think that it's right and that's it. After you are done testing, you find that it's working, you ship it to production, and from there you sleep like a baby and you are happy. That's not a problem because you are a beginner, you are new into development. But now, as time goes by, you start to adapt the clean code technique and start to understand that there are layers. Okay, you will write the first layer for solving a problem. Can you validate the email? Okay, can you do this? You will quickly do that. And then when you are done with it, you will come back and refactor and check. Isn't there some variables which are not properly named? Okay, are there any functions which are performing more than one task? Okay, are there, so you will keep on checking those layers. Yeah, obviously, as a beginner, you have a lot of layers. In most cases, you don't even aware of the layers. That solution to you works well and it's fine because it's your code anyway. But as you work with the team, as you get hired, as you work in a company, then you will start to understand that there are layers. So the goal is to minimize the layers as much as possible so that you can learn at least to write a better code from the get-go. Once you are done with it, you can quickly double check and fix some things and your code is better. So I hope I am taking you somewhere with this. If you feel like, or maybe we might want more on these things, feel free to some sort of visit my website, Matthew Msengati, matthewmsengati.co.za, and then from then you can schedule a one-on-one discovery meeting where I will come back to you via email. We are going to discuss who you are, where you're from, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, how much do you know, and where you want to go. And then from then, I will create some videos which addresses your unique pain points. your problems and also will help you to give you the solution of a problem that you want to solve. Okay, so this 10-hour coaching course also, it's helping me as an individual, if I can be honest. I remember Prince approached me, and he had a problem. Okay, but the problem that he had, there was some sort of a stack or a piece of it which I, like, it was new to me. Okay, it was directors, a headless CMS. Okay, so now I was challenged to go and understand what directors is and learn about it, because I was solving a problem for a student. And once I've learned directors, then I came back to him, we continued and we solved his problem, because now I understood what directors is. And also I have helped him in, what can I say, in integrating directors more efficiently and also doing it easy than the way he was doing it before. So the reason why I like this approach of doing things, the coaching course, rather than a video that is one size fits all, is because it helps me as well. We are becoming better developers. So if you might be interested, feel free to visit my website, and then you can schedule a free one-on-one discovery meeting. It's for free. We can discuss and take you somewhere. So I think, guys, that's about it for me when it comes to clean code. Okay, so I hope this video has added value. This is a series, okay, where I'm going to use this website and get into details and get into the code and show you everything. I will show you how to do this. I will show you how, when you type your name and email, what happens when you click the submit button. I will also show you the loading components. As you can see, that loading components, as you can see here, there is some sort of an integration with the payment. When somebody settles the 1,500 rand, what happens, and until it comes back here again. And also here there are some good programming practices that I've adhered to. I will also dive deep into details. If you think that this is for you, you can just go here, schedule the call, or if you are ready, you can just click here, settle the payment, and then we are done. I am Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you can subscribe so that you can be notified for future videos like this one. Thank you so much. See you on the next one.